Sure, that Dundee Carers Centre had a short break service before, and they found that what they were finding was there were a lot of gaps in the service that they were able to provide. So they commissioned a report from Animate, a company called Animate. It was in partnership with Dundee Carers Centre and Health and Social Care Partnership. As a result of that report, they've identified a lot of gaps that could be addressed, and that's how the short breaks team was come to be, and the brokerage service was born.
Okay, so what is brokerage then? Can you tell us?
Okay, in simple terms, brokerage is just a series of conversations you have with a carer. What you're trying to focus on is you're trying to get to the root of the problem with the carer. Rather than have a carer come in to the carer centre, ask for a short break which has been predetermined, we sit down and have these conversations with the carer, and we co-design the best possible solution for that carer. Could be absolutely anything. So what happened before with social work would very often refer a carer for Time for You, for example, which was a respite service. And just to put it into context, when the service first started, we had 35 carers on Time for You. That was a result of care managers, because there was nothing else. Care managers would refer to Time for You because they thought it's better than nothing. And now today we have 7 carers on Time for You because we found alternative solutions for them which better match their needs.
Okay.
So we're finding carers at a much earlier stage than we used to find them, and therefore there's no need for this intense support that we get.
Okay. Can you give examples of some of the solutions that you've come up with a carer?
Well, solutions can be as simple as signposting someone onto a group for a bit of peer support. Sometimes that's all a carer's looking for. Providing, making it possible for a carer to go and then meet friends again. Sometimes they've never met friends for months and months and months because they just can't get out of the house. So we could facilitate them being able to get out of the house, go and meet their friends, liaise with social work, see what we could do for a couple of hours and make that happen. Could be things like driving lessons. We've provided driving lessons for somebody. We're always looking for something that's long-term sustainable, although that's not always possible. The nature of being a carer is you're not always going to get a long-term solution. So we've done things like driving lessons, magazine subscriptions. Carer could take themselves away with their favourite magazine. We've found that that's been very, very helpful for carers. The feedback we're getting from that is amazing. And in short, as a team, what we always say is a short break is anything that helps a carer in their life.
Right.
Anything. We're all joyous.
Okay. And what have been the challenges of having a short break brokerage service?
Some of the challenges could be identifying these carers. Pretty often carers will say that I'm not a carer, I'm just a wife or a husband or a friend or a brother or a sister. Don't really associate themselves with carers and think they're not entitled to this short break. So it's very difficult to convince a carer, one, you are entitled to a short break. You are a carer, as well as being a husband or a wife or a brother or a sister. So it's a big challenge to actually get carers to see that they are worth a service like this, because carers don't want to see themselves as a charity case. So in order to overcome that, what we did was we asked a carer if it's appropriate to do so, because one of the areas we look at the carer's life through brokerage conversations is financial. So if we think it's appropriate at the time, we'll ask the carer if they'd like to make a donation to the short break. And the feedback we got is the carer now feels that they've got bigger ownership of that break.
Right.
They no longer feel a charity case. And they come round to the idea that, yes, you are a carer. And you could also explain to them that what would happen if you become unwell. What we're here to do is just to keep you as well as we possibly can, so you could continue to be a carer. And that very often gets a message through as well.
Okay. And what sort of outcomes have you achieved for carers?
Well, carers often report to us that their health, well-being has just improved, their mental well-being has improved, the stress in their life is gone, the ability to have a life outside of being a carer, not just stuck in isolation. Now they're going out with friends, they're going to theatres, we've provided meal vouchers so they can go with friends. Pretty often part of the package we provide is not just, you can't just provide an opportunity for a carer to go to a theatre and have a meal. Who are they going to go with? They may want to go with the person they care for, and that's fantastic. They may want to go with a friend as well. So that comes into the package as well. It would be unfair to expect carers to go on their own. So the lack of social isolation is a big thing for carers. Just having a life outside of care.
To me, when I hear these stories, there's something about the carer feeling valued for their role. Like, do you think that's an important part of it?
Absolutely. We have found that carers are saying to us that very often it's the first time somebody's actually listened to them and understood what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The service of old, as good as it was,
Mm-hmm.
a carer was coming with an option of getting time for you, which is a respite service, or some massages.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing much in between. There was opportunity for things outside that, but they didn't have this broad spectrum of opportunities for carers. And to sit down and discuss these different opportunities, carers, you just see their face lighting up. Somebody's actually listening to me. Social work will listen, but social work, they're busy and had a lack of options. Now we're finding social work that come to us and asking us what we could do. We're only happy to provide that.
So it sounds as well that the process of the brokerage, the good conversations that you're having, is a therapeutic intervention in itself.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's investing the time in carers is the biggest success that we've found. If you invest the time in carers to find out exactly what the problem is in their life, then you'll get a better outcome. I could give you a good example of that. When a carer came to us and thought that she had difficulty getting her husband on public transport, and it was just to get the weekly shop done. So she came to us thinking that if she could pass her driving test and get a series of driving lessons, life would be so much easier for her. Because the husband would go in the car, they'd go get the shopping done, get home. So much easier. But the brokerage process identified that there's no way this lady could afford running the car, insuring the car. She just didn't look into it. But maybe the service of old would have just signed that off. She'd have had some driving lessons and no means to purchase a car. She'd have been no further forward. Although she'd have had probably a test would have been passed, but she'd been no further forward. So what the brokerage conversation we did, looking at the problem was just getting the weekly shop. This is what's stressing this carer out. Not getting the husband ready, but getting the weekly shopping. So we bought her a laptop, a tablet they're called, and an online subscription, and the shopping comes to her now. She's absolutely over the moon. So that's just a small example of what brokerage does. Having the conversations, investing the time, getting to the root of the problem. Carer comes with a solution, might be the best solution, but it might not be. That's just a small example of what you could do if you invest the time in a carer.
And of course she'd be able to use the tablet and presumably the person she cares for can use the tablet for other things as well.
Multitude of things, yes. And it's long term because she could use it for as long as she likes. Yeah.
Okay. And so what the factors that have led to success have been obviously this listening to carers and having these good conversations. Is there anything else that you feel that's really helped? I think you told me before that the service before had a limit of £300 and you did something about that?
Yeah, so the service of old had a limit of £300 and that was great. That was fantastic to be able to spend £300 on a carer. But when I first started, what I looked at was breaks of old. Every one of them cost £300. It didn't matter what it was, if it was £300 or as near as you could get to it. So we took it away. We don't advertise £300. We've got it in the back of our minds, of course we have. We have to be prudent with our finances. But what we found by taking that away, we're creating breaks that cost a lot less than £300.
Right.
And our average cost, the last report I did, the average cost of a break was £200. So that actually happened by accident. We didn't do it to save money.
No.
We just did it to try and be more creative in what we did. If it cost £350, then that's what it would have cost. Some breaks we deliver cost £400, some are free. But overall, every break we deliver, the average cost is £200, which means we could provide breaks to a lot more carers. Just expand the service a wee bit more.
That's really interesting because you think that by removing that £300 cap, that there would be a risk that you'd be only providing less breaks of a greater value, but it's been entirely the reverse.
It's been entirely different. It's been entirely the reverse. I mean, and that, you're right, that is a big risk. It could have come out at an average breaks now, £400. God, what have you done? But it didn't. We started getting more creative. And a big part of the service is looking what's on your doorstep. What's in your community? What's these centres, what are they offering, the community centres? What does the church offer? What does the carer groups offer? What do different services offer? Can we access them? Is it free? Is it a small cost? Do they need transport costs? All these things go into knowing what to give a carer, the best solution. And very often these things have got minimal costs, absolutely minimal costs, which helps to bring the cost down, of course.
That's great. Okay, so what have you learned by delivering this brokerage service?
The biggest learning thing is, I've mentioned earlier on, is investing the time in carers. If you invest that time, and time costs money, of course it does, it costs the brokerage time, and it all costs money in itself, but if you invest that time, the chances of you seeing that carer again are minimal. Our biggest referral source now is self-referrals. For the first time ever, the last report I did, the biggest referrals was self-referrals and people who are accessing for the first time. It's never happened before. It's always been people coming back. They still come back. Some people will still come back, but they just come back year after year after year. What we're finding now, 2 years into this new service, is that a carer accessing the service maybe today didn't access it before until 2 years ago.
Right.
So that would never have happened before.
Right.
So going from social work and internal being our biggest referrals, it's now self-referrals. People walking in that door, which is a massive thing. So investing the time in carers is the biggest learning we've had. It's cost effective.
Yeah. And the whole approach sounds very empowering for a carer. You're giving them not just a sense of control, actually being in control. I think you've spoken about in the past to me that part of the brokerage, you arrange that funding, but you can also actually arrange the breaks as well, absolutely, if the carer wants you to.
We'll arrange everything. Very often you could arrange a break, the best break in the world, but a carer doesn't have time to go and organise that. So you could say to a carer, there's X amount of money, go and organise a break, but they don't have that time, so we'll do it. If a carer wants to do it, absolutely, or they want to do it in partnership with us, that's absolutely fine. Or if they say to us they don't have the time, we'll happily arrange all that. And you can only do that if you know what's on your doorstep, if you know what kind of breaks that carer wants, you know how to access it. And a lot of times we'll access external trust funds, just the same as every other carer centre in the country, and that'll help reduce your costs. You couldn't ask a carer to do these things, so yes, we will provide a whole service from start to finish. Initial conversation to going on a break, and we're proud to say that we've got a 3-week turnover.
Right.
So a carer comes in here looking to refer themselves to short breaks, 3 weeks later they've got their break.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
That's great.
And we can only do that because we've tightened up processes, looked at the structure of the team, know exactly what's on our doorstep, experienced 2 years into this new service. The team know exactly what's out there, and they can pinpoint it. So 3 to 4 weeks and they've got their break.
That's fantastic. So it just shows the benefit of having specialist workers.
Absolutely, yes. They just focus on being brokers, brokering short breaks, whatever that may be. The knowledge they've built up, and we've got a database of it now, so anybody could access that, and we share it amongst the other teams in the centre. They've accessed it as well. It's been beneficial to everybody. So.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ian, for sharing your experience of that. I'm sure lots of other centres would be interested in the model that you have here in Dundee.
Great. Thank you.